So here's a question that's speaking to our relationship with social media. The question is, do you think you can fully remove yourself from social media, or would that be shooting yourself in the foot socially and possibly in a career sense? I think the question is interesting, the way it says, can you fully remove yourself? I have never advocated, and I don't think I ever would advocate, fully removing ourselves from social media or any form of technology or anything for that matter that has some offers us something of benefit. And I believe social media offers us or can offer us something of benefit. I imagine that the question is being asked, and it's a very thoughtful question, because of the ways that social media and our dependence and reliance, and we could almost say addiction to social media, might in fact be not serving our interests and contributing to a decline in our well-being, as has been reported and I believe researched. So I think I think it is, one can curate their social media sources a little bit more thoughtfully, so that not everything or as many things are part of our toolkit of social media applications, that one can also curate the amount of time and when they spend time attending to social media. Those things, I think, are quite useful and in my sense, for my life, necessary to do, because they can be so tantalizing and so captivating, and in many ways can distort our perceptions of things. The other aspect to this from a mindfulness sense, I think, is to become more aware of why we are reaching for it at times when it may not be serving our interest, or why we might be indulging in it in an overindulged sense that might not be serving our interest. And there we can begin to notice some of the obstacles to challenging moments in our life that are perhaps underlying that reaching for a particular type of social media. It might be, for example, that the challenges is that we're left alone, waiting for, the next meeting or the next class, or just nothing really to do. And that's challenging because we begin to feel restless or bored or uncomfortable. And with that obstacle of restlessness or bored, which is just a transient state, we reach for the technology to assuage that discomfort. That could be worth investigating. And in many ways, much of our practice of mindfulness and many of our discussions are about finding a way to be more comfortable, even in moments when we're not so comfortable, and also being able to marshal our attention skillfully, and deploying our attention towards social media at such moments may not be so skillful. Relatedly, we might have it where the challenge is that we learn something about a group of people, and we begin to have a story about what that means about us and whether they like us, or we begin to feel self-doubt. And so those obstacles begin to then impel us to, even though we might be studying or getting ready to have a nice conversation with somebody, instead pivot to reach for the social media. So I do think there's a lot of value in not eliminating social media, certainly not entirely. I think socially and in a career sense, that could be quite consequential, but rather developing mastery and more skillfully being able to turn to it so that it serves us well, as opposed to us being disserved by it. A really thoughtful question. It also moves a little bit into the domain of solitude.